We're starting. We're starting. Take that bite. Eat that hummus, girl. Eat that hummus.
It's guacamole.
Eat that guacamole. Whatever it is, eat it. Eat it. Hey guys, welcome to Big Fat Vegan RuCap, episode 7, Snatch Game.
Snatch Game, finally!
I just have to say,
2 episodes later than normal.
It's really bittersweet for me to be watching Snatch Game and Trixie Mattel is not on it.
I know, but did you see what she posted on Instagram, girl?
No.
She said she was going to be Anne Frank.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, I don't think, you know what?
I'm sorry.
I think it makes sense now. Well, we're foreshadowing something here if I say this, but there's a surprise at the end of the episode, and given that surprise, which we all know what it is, maybe that was RuPaul's way of saving Trixie by like, no, for your own good, I'm not going to let you do this. So we're going to.
Oh, you're really? Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, because look, I am all about boundary pushing. I really am. Hugely. I'm hugely about boundary pushing. And I don't know how. I don't know how, in what stretch of the imagination, Anne Frank is funny on Snatch Game. I just don't know. I don't know how it's possible.
Here's the thing. Can Holocaust jokes be funny? I know I'm supposed to say, like, no, that's not. No, not ever, no. But
there's got to be a good Holocaust joke out there. There just has to be.
There are. I mean, I've been in an audience, even when it's just like, oh my God, that was inappropriate, and you get like a groan from people, or you get, just shock value. Like, people have used it for comedic value, and guess what? It has worked. But I don't see anything inherently funny about Anne Frank as a character on Snatch Game. Like, she's not.
Nothing.
Here's the thing.
There's nothing funny about Anne Frank.
Anne Frank.
She wasn't even a funny person.
Anne Frank is an author. We only know Anne Frank from her written word.
She's not even an author. She's a girl who had a diary.
Well, I suppose, yeah, I guess you can say that. But I mean, we know her.
She is a Jewish girl who got killed by the Nazis. I really don't know where the comedy is.
Here's what are we laughing at?
We're laughing at how uncomfortable it is to discuss Anne Frank. Forget the Holocaust ever happened. What a statement. Oh God. Just erase it from your mind. Just erase the Holocaust.
If anyone, have you ever said one single line that you hope no one would ever isolate that line and quote you out of context? But like, forgetting the Holocaust, forgetting Nazi Germany, forgetting whatever. Anne Frank is someone the world knows from her writing. She is not someone who has ever done press interviews. She's not someone who has ever been in the public eye. She's not someone who we know what her voice sounds like, her mannerisms are. She doesn't have catchphrases. You can't impersonate Anne Frank.
Yeah, there's no personality you even associate with her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, not a smart choice. But anyway, so this episode is Snatch Game, and we pretty much get right into it. Like, they pretty much just launch right into Snatch Game. So how did you feel about who everyone chose for their character?
Well, I was really glad that Ru talked Violet into doing Alyssa, because, just based on the workroom alone, her doing a little Versace and then her doing a little Alyssa, it was like, oh my God, Violet, do Alyssa, because it's so much funnier. And I'm thrilled she did, because I thought she was really funny. I thought she did great.
Yeah. I don't know who I would. Bob said if she ever did Drag Race Snatch Game, hands down, she would be Whoopi Goldberg, because Bob the Drag Queen looks like Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know who I would do if I did Snatch Game.
The big question there is, what era Whoopi would Bob do? Because that becomes the whole thing.
Sister Act.
Good. Perfect.
Do you have a thought, like, who Honey LeBronx would be if I was on Snatch Game?
I'd have to think about it, and I don't want to answer now because I'd want to give it more thought than that.
I would want to say Björk, but like, there's no way I'm pulling off Björk. And
No.
also, I just don't think Björk works as a Snatch Game character.
Actually, Björk could really work. Let's talk about that more. I could help you do this.
Maybe I should work on a Björk because I should be able to.
I know how you could do it. I know how you could do it. I am totally thinking of punchlines right now. That's the other thing. And I hate to be like this, and I'm gonna and you know, I mean, I can't help it, but I watch this stuff from the point of view of a joke writer. I'm a person who writes jokes. So it's hard for me not to watch those things. And I can't help but wonder, you can just see who has written their stuff and who hasn't. And it makes such a difference. Like, okay, for this example, this Snatch Game, prime example is Ginger. Ginger wrote her jokes. She knew what lines she wanted to use, and then she just dropped them in when she could.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's the same with Jinx. Obviously, when Jinx was Little Edie, totally wrote all her jokes in advance, and then you worked them into the show.
I think the documentary Grey Gardens wrote most of those lines for her.
Well, she was prepared. Do you know what I mean? And then you see these other people who just go up and wing it, thinking that that's going to work. And it's really not. If you want to create that character and sell it, you have to write those jokes. And prime point is in our Snatch Game. We could get into this more because you asked me what I thought about choices. I think Sharon Needles is a terrible choice to be Sharon Needles. Yeah. But also, Max had nothing written. She had no, the reason I think Sharon Needles is a bad choice, I'll just say it right out there. And I'm kind of a Needles fan. I'll go see her if she's going to do something nearby that I'm interested in. I'll go see it. But she doesn't really have, I don't know. Sharon is most known for doing other stuff. You don't really think of Sharon as Sharon. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You think of her as doing these characters. Like when I think of Sharon on Drag Race, I think of her doing her acting stuff, or her Michelle Visage in Match Game. And then even when Ru has Sharon on again, in little stuff, little RuPaul's Drag Race comments and stuff. She did Michelle Visage recently. They had her on, and she was doing Michelle again because that's what Sharon does. She does characters and parts, and so to think of Sharon Needles isn't the character to me as much. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. The characters she does is what I think of more than her as the character. Whereas if you think of Alyssa Edwards, great example, total character. Alyssa has all these isms, and Laganja, same thing. I mean, Laganja's totally hilarious character that you can do. I don't think Sharon is a hilarious character.
That would have been funny for someone to do Laganja. We would have been eating it up. Oh.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone has the balls to do it because Alaska is the queen of doing Laganja. I don't think anybody's going to step on Alaska's toes. Alaska's literally touring with the RuPaul bots right now doing Laganja on their Snatch Game. So, she's doing it. So, hilarious. But anyway, Sharon, I literally can't think of anything that's like signature Sharon Needles that you would even say other than, I don't know, corny stuff is the only stuff I can think of. When I think of funny stuff that Sharon does, it's her, I don't know, acting and doing stuff. She doesn't actually say and do, I don't know, unless it was really planned out. I don't know. That's such a hard one to do. I think it was a really not a good choice for Max.
So who would you say was your least favorite character choice and your favorite character choice?
My least favorite was Versace, which I'm sorry to say, Miss Fame. Yeah. I hated it. Uh-huh. I don't really know. I don't know really. Well, she didn't have any jokes. Obviously, there was nothing written. She was just goofing around. And also, I know Fame's not really a character doer type, the thing about Fame, I have so much to say about Fame. I could go on forever. I think she's so talented and so interesting and so charming, just exactly the way that she is. And I don't like it when she tries.
Really funny. When they're just talking off camera, she's always got some line ready or something funny to say ready. She's really funny just on her own.
Well, she's enough. That's the thing. She's enough. When Miss Fame is talking about loving chickens or like trying to keep a positive attitude. I mean, I could watch her all day. I love that Miss Fame. But when she gets on stage to do stuff, sometimes I feel like she's trying to put on a little bit, and I lose that genuine Miss Fame. That is what I love, and that's what I want to see more of. So anyway, whatever. But no, I didn't. I mean, Donatella Versace is a boring choice for me anyway because I'm not a fashion girl. And then she wasn't funny. So I don't know. That was probably my least favorite, I guess. I don't know. And then my favorite?
Yeah.
It was Adele. It was Ginger doing Adele. I loved it. Because I don't
thought
really like Adele, and she really made fun of her like in a great way. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I thought a lot of people were really funny. I really did. I thought Pearl was hilarious.
What's that?
I thought Pearl was very funny. I thought Violet was very funny. I thought that Katya was very funny. I thought a lot of them were very funny. But, I mean, I was all about Ginger making fun of Adele. It was my favorite.
I think Ginger was very successful in her character. I also agree.
Yeah.
Maxis Geranitos, meh. And yeah, I mean, I was excited. I was hoping it was going to be a two Donatella Versace's kind of like a standoff. Like they'd both be on there. I thought that could have been a funny thing that worked.
It'd be fun to watch, but actually, even when RuPaul was talking to Miss Fame, I thought Miss Fame's second choice sounded better too. I love the Long Island medium. She's way funnier. Like that would have been a way funnier thing to do.
Yeah, I just don't know that enough people know who she is. At least I don't know who she is, but I'm just gonna say
I don't think it matters. That's one of those things. Okay, it doesn't like when Roxy is Tamar. That was like that's my favorite. That's my favorite example. I had no idea who Tamar Braxton was. Who cares? She was hilarious.
Yeah. Because
Tamar Braxton is a big funny character. Now, the Long Island medium is definitely a super big funny thing that she could have done, and you don't need to know who she is. It would have worked.
You know who I think should have won, hands down, Snatch Game? Pearl, Big Ange. I thought that was the best character, funniest character, the best transformation. I think it was the most successful character.
Interesting.
I liked. Here's the thing. I liked Ginger as Adele. I've seen plus size queens do Adele before. I've seen it done. It usually goes something like what Ginger did. That's what I was expecting. Ginger did a damn good job. I mean, she was perfect. But Big Ange is such a funnier character than Adele. So I
was really proud of Pearl because she made herself kind of ugly.
And she really performed the hell out of it. Like Pearl,
she never broke character. She was great, even when somebody did because that a lot of times for me in Snatch Game, the little one-liners that happen sort of when it's not on your character are some of my favorite lines a lot of times. Like one of the best things Ginger said to me was when she pointed at Katya and said, I love you, Justin Bieber. That was the funniest line in the whole Snatch Game.
That was great. I was dying when Katya said she was going to be Susie Orman because I love Susie Orman. Susie Orman is someone I reference a lot. But I agree with Michelle. Or with Ross or Michelle. It could have been more. There was something about what I didn't like about it.
Back. She was not in a good place.
You don't do Susie Orman once in her life tried a different hairstyle and quickly came to her senses. Susie Orman has one hairstyle. It's like the big wedge that comes across here, and then the rest of it just goes here. And Katya didn't nail that. And for me, if you don't have that going on, you're kind of not doing Susie.
That cost you everything. The bad hair.
Kind of. Well, no, I mean, it just wasn't enough. But I thought Pearl, not only did Pearl do such a great job, but it was so satisfying to see Pearl just kill it in an acting.
I agree.
Challenge. And
I agree, but also she was really natural in her characterization. She had so many funny things that she came back with that didn't seem like scripted lines, but they were super funny when she was like, I had a rough child. I was fucking watching Batman and Robin.
That's right.
It was hilarious. And it wasn't a joke. She wasn't like doing a joke. She was just doing like her characterization, and it was hilarious. I agree with you. I liked Pearl a lot, but I don't know. I mean, I'm Team Ginger. I'm not gonna act like I'm not.
Yeah.
She's like one of my favorite girls in the show. Also
my two favorites in Snatch Game were Pearl and Violet Chachki. I think Violet easily
did great.
I thought Violet easily could have won the challenge. But to give
I wanted more from Violet. There were a couple jokes that I felt like Violet missed, and I wanted more. But she did a couple that were really great. Like, what is it when she did the laugh and said, "You almost got me there, bitch"? I was like, oh, that is so Alyssa. It was like so nailed. It was great.
So can we stop and acknowledge the great injustice? Kennedy Davenport, first off, doing she chose between either Little Richard or Sweet Brown. Girl, do Sweet Brown. Ain't nobody got time.
I know, do Sweet Brown.
That's hilarious. That would have been funny.
She was funny as Little Richard. I'm not going to act like she wasn't. She made me laugh a bunch of times. The singing, it was cracking me up.
Like, here's the thing. What is involved in doing a Little Richard impression? Just saying something and then woo! That's not...
I know. Well, I got to tell you, though, because the thing is, for me, I was like, is she going to do another joke? Because this is going to get old. But then every time she did it, I was still laughing. So I was like, maybe this isn't getting old. Maybe it's funny.
I honestly thought Jaden Dior Fierce as Raven Simone, I thought her constant, like, having a vision, even though that was even though that was, like, tired and, like, done to death, I thought that was more entertaining than, like, every time I listened to Kennedy as Little Richard, I was like, woo, there it is. Oh, look at you. Aren't you funny? Like, that doesn't take skill. That doesn't take timing. That doesn't take talent.
I don't know. She was cracking me up. But I do think she got lucky. But that happens. Look, that happens. That happens sometimes with those comedy challenges. I'm going to point out that in season 5, when there was the stand-up comedy challenge, and, Jinx killed it because she's a comedian. Alaska killed it because she's a comedian. Who won that challenge? Coco Montrese. Because she got lucky with her character. That's what happened to Kennedy. And I don't want to be a jerk, but sometimes you pick a good character, it hits, it's funny, and you get lucky. It doesn't mean you're a great comedian. It's a different thing.
Montrese won?
Yeah. It was the RuPaul roast. Coco Montrese won the challenge.
I don't remember Coco Montrese winning it. Huh.
Yeah, she did like this. She pretended she was like RuPaul's cousin from the projects, and then she won the challenge.
I remember Trinity K. Bonet being the one who, like...
You're thinking of the wrong season. That's season 6. I'm talking about season 5 with Jinx and Alaska.
It's funny, like, you watch one season and you think this is so memorable, and then as soon as it's the next season, I forgot the last one. But,
well, don't worry. I remember all of them for you.
I really thought it should have been either Violet as Alyssa or Pearl as Big Ange or Ginger as Adele. Fine, but not Kennedy as Little Richard.
Well, I hate to say it, look, just because Kennedy made me laugh, and I'm not going to act like she didn't. She made me laugh, and obviously she made a lot of people laugh. But for me, I just wouldn't have picked Kennedy as the winner based simply on the fact that it wasn't a female character.
Yeah.
Like, just as a rule. Because when Alaska did that boy drag, she got so much, like, they read her up the river for doing that boy drag. Yeah. And that wasn't Snatch Game. I feel like Snatch Game is a bigger deal than when Alaska did her boy drag. But whatever. I agree with you. I think on principle, Kennedy shouldn't have won because it was not a girl. It's not a female. It was not a female character.
So Max and Jaden were in the bottom 2. And look, I'm all about having a meltdown. I'm all about taking a moment, but that was just embarrassing for Max.
Oh, it was awful.
Where she's like, I was going to sit down and sing. It's like, So it was like I was taking advantage of the moment. It's like, no, you're taking advantage would mean you did something that made you look good or stand out. But ooh, that didn't. That just
Yeah,
made
well,
me crazy.
it's hard because I tell you what, I mean, Max is young and extremely talented and really interesting and kind of weird. And obviously, like, that was so much anxiety and tension showing for Max when she knew she didn't do well as Sharon, you know, and so she knew it was going to come down on her on the stage. And then when it did, it was like she just couldn't handle it. Like she couldn't breathe and she couldn't focus and she just totally flipped out. And it was like, I don't know. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, I did too. I felt bad for her in that moment.
But also mostly because I feel like this is the thing. Okay, so she really blew it in Snatch Game. And then she really blew it in the lip sync. So it was like she has to go home. But I would really have rather seen more from Max than a couple of the girls who are still there. I would really rather have Max. But she blew it.
I'd rather see Max still kept around than Jaden Dior Fierce. But I will say Jaden Dior Fierce at least brings a certain energetic level that I haven't really seen Max do.
I like Jaden, but I'm more interested in Max. And then, look, there's other girls I could name. I won't, but I would rather see more of Max than several other girls who are still there. Like, I'd like to see Max go all the way to the end. I'm interested in what Max is doing. Like, I like
maybe Max would be top 5.
I thought Max could go all the way. I really did. I thought Max might be top 3.
Yeah. So, by the way, so Max and Jaden lip synced. Jaden killed it again.
Jaden is a good performer.
Oh, absolutely. And Max just is not a terribly energetic lip syncer. I think she's too set in that old Hollywood classic kind of style that she's
Well, it was also like, there are times, countless times in Drag Race history that I can recall where a song suits somebody better. Like when Latrice Royale went home, though the time that Latrice Royale got eliminated was on some super white girl country song that I don't want to see Latrice Royale lip sync to, was the same thing with this Max and Jaden lip sync. This song was not for Max and it was totally for Jaden. So, I mean, it's natural that she was going to shine at it better.
Do you think somewhere out there's a podcast with 2 people talking about what happened on the Super Bowl?
Yes.
That feels like what this is. And then, of course, Ru makes the announcement that, and obviously I saw this coming. And when I ran into Trixie the other week at Industry, I just said to her, I'm like, I know you can't say anything. I know you're legally obligated under contract. You cannot confirm or deny. But I'm like, I know they're bringing you back on the show. I know that you're not done on these. I know that they're bringing you back. There's no way they would have gotten rid of you that early, except for the drama of bringing you back. But wouldn't it be funny if right after saying, Max, thank you for taking us all to the max. Now sashay away. Ladies, I've been thinking that maybe I sent one queen home too early. Oh, could it be so-and-so?
Max?
Could it be so-and-so? It'll come to me. And then Max comes back. That would be hilarious.
Well, this is my theory. And I'm just putting it out there. Because there have been times that Ru has kept both people in the lip sync. And I feel like that's happened several times. And I feel like if Ru didn't want Max to go home, it would have happened then. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think Max is coming back. But
yeah, it's not going to be Max. I think it is going to be Trixie. Well, because duh. But also, Ru hasn't brought a queen back in 2 seasons. It hasn't happened since season 4.
Carmen Carrera?
So, no, it was little Kenya Michaels.
Oh, Kenya. I haven't thought of her in a while.
Yeah, I'm not a big Kenya fan either. But it was, yeah.
Now that you, she just liked to move her body. Now that you mentioned the Anne Frank thing, it makes perfect sense that Ru was like, let me find a way to get
you out of Snatch Game
from doing this so that people will still love her. Because I do think that
you think that Ru could have just said, Trixie, don't do Anne Frank?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's one of the things though about what Violet did that I really thought was the smartest is because Ru was really direct with her and was like, you should think about doing Alyssa. Ru wasn't like, oh, well, I'm going to make that decision up to you. Ru was like, I really think you should consider doing Alyssa. She was clear, and Violet did what Ru suggested. And you should. If Ru makes a suggestion to you, I think you should do what Ru says. I mean, it's her show.
Well, I realize now I should start working on a Peggy Bundy impression and a Björk impression.
Well, yeah, Peggy Bundy you could kill the look at. The thing is, I don't know that show well enough, but she's her lines are super funny on that show. I'm sure that you could get a lot of funny stuff out of that. But Björk could be so weird and funny if you do it right.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you do it right. Funny. I just don't think there's any way I can make myself look like Björk. But you know who else? I'm trying to think which other women do I know who have this Mr. Potato Head shaped face and a large nose. And you know who else would be worth looking into for me to impersonate? Bette Midler.
Huh. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's nothing there. But I feel like Bette Midler would be an easier look for me to turn in a celebrity impersonation.
I really have to think about it more with you.
Oh my God, I would love to. Let's brainstorm.
I think Peggy Bundy is the knee-jerk for you, the obvious choice.
But
and obviously, you'd have to watch a lot of Married with Children to really get her lines down. But she's
not watching Married with Children yet. But you know who else
She says a lot of great funny stuff.
You know who else just popped in my head? Who I know pretty well at this point, and I've watched everything of hers. Roseanne.
Roseanne.
Right. Roseanne, or possibly Rose Nyland from Golden Girls.
Oh, a Golden Girl would be a good choice for you.
Yeah, I think I could possibly do a Golden Girl or Roseanne or Peggy Bundy, maybe Bette Midler circa Beaches, or whatever. We'll see. Anyway, but I'd love to brainstorm that with you sometime.
Yeah, well, if you ever commit to a character, or even a couple of them, I mean, I could help you with jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. So is that it for this episode?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in. And, hey, share this. Share this with your friends on Facebook. And tweet.
Yeah, get your RuCap on.
Why don't you tweet these episodes on the Twitter and at Drag Race or whatnot, just so all the queens that we've bashed can hear what we said about them. On the tweet. And then go to Big Fat Vegan Radio and click on Support Us to become a member. And other than that, yay, go vegan.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.